Hello, my name's Jose. My goal with this channel is to give you all the support you need to be able to run your racing simulator. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I set up my personal button box and hopefully give you an idea on how to set up yours. When I first got into sim racing, a button box was something that I was always looking at because I knew it was going to make my life easier. And I've gotten to a point now between this box and the Stream Deck, I really don't have a whole lot of use for the keyboard and mouse. That's my favorite thing because having to reach over to the keyboard or reach for the mouse, it can get kind of annoying. Initially, when I got the box, I didn't really know where I was going to put stuff, so I ended up putting stuff like the pit limiter on or the master switch or the starter, and those were the basics. From there, I started realizing what I needed, and these come with a label sheet, which is nice. So from there, I was able to figure out what I needed, and I'm going to go through each of the buttons that I set up. We'll go into kind of my mentality of why I put it there, and again, hopefully my goal is to give you an idea for yours. Starting up on the top right here, I've got my master switch. All of the cars, at least on iRacing, they require you to fire up the ignition first and then the starter. So here I've got my ignition switch, which is on a safety toggle. This way, if I'm running in the middle of a race and this gets knocked, if I'm doing something else, there's a very, very low chance of the car turning off. It's all about the immersion on that point. There's a lot of people that run with just automatic starter or automatic ignition. When I got into sim racing, that was one of the coolest things for me, being able to get that procedure going in the car. So being able to have that there, it's cool, but it's also very useful for me. Next to it, I have the telemetry switch, and this is to be able to toggle telemetry on and off. Why do I want to have it on or off? Because it takes up memory on the computer, and if I'm recording data for a reason, then okay, I'll turn it on and I'll have it send data to the folder that I have it set to. But here, I can just flip it on when I need to record data. It's cool if I want to record data for just one lap. I can just turn it on and then turn it off. And then over on this side, I've got the starter button. So once you have the master engaged, you can then just push and hold the starter to get the car started. This section down here, all of these switches, so these are up and down, and then side to side. Here, I have all of my field of view controls. It's much more convenient to have that on here, up and down, so I have all 6 controls mapped to that. It's a lot easier than having to grab the keyboard, go to the brackets, and then go and hold Shift or Alt. However the hotkeys are set up in iRacing, this is significantly easier. I have up here, field of view, horizon, and then the driver height. It depends on the car that I'm driving, but stuff like the Ferrari, the F3, the LMP3, all those cars require a bit of a tuning, at least on the driver height. So having that here, it's very convenient. I can run that in the middle of a race. Sometimes I feel that I'm sitting too low, or exactly if I want to get up a little bit higher to get a little bit more comfortable and see over that dash so that I can see the corner coming up a little bit easier. Being able to flip this on the fly, it's very easy and it's very convenient. Here in the middle, I have the black boxes, so I can switch through the different black boxes just by going up and down. And over on this side, so this is important because the graphic adjustments black box, this is where my force feedback control is. So instead of having to flip through it, I can just click this, and I have on the wheel with my funky switch, I can then scroll down to fuel, scroll down to tires, anything in the pit stop, or anything else that I might need to do in a black box, I can go ahead and flip to those black boxes with this. Down here, I have the mirror. So this is 2 switches in one. So I have 1 and 2. Just right now, I just have it on the mirror. So I actually have 3 free buttons on this button box right now. So if you have any idea what I could do with these, get creative and leave a comment below, and then I'll map it to something. Coming over to these push buttons again. This one here is for the camera. So anytime that I need to do something in the iRacing camera for the car, instead of having to hit Control F12, just click here to camera, and that pops up that menu right away. This last one down here, it's more so for the sims that I use here in the office, and it's just another enter exit button. It's a lot easier when we have guests here or we have clients here that they want to get into the car. This is very clearly labeled enter exit, so it's just a lot easier and quicker to tell somebody this is your reset button. Coming down to these last three here, this big one, as you can imagine, it's a dedicated brake bias dial. It's a big chunky knob, so even with gloves, it's easy to turn. And then over on this side, this is probably the coolest part of this button box. We end up with 6 buttons right here. So actually, we end up with 12 buttons here because each of these, it's two-way, and then we can click in, and we end up with 3 different sub menus. So we end up with a lot of buttons here. This top one I've got set just for the button for the volume control right now. And then down here to be able to flip through my different dashboard pages. I have a small dashboard on my rig at home that I'm able to switch through different dashboards. So I can either click on it since it's touchscreen, or if I just reach over, I can switch it there. I hope that answered any questions you may have had when it came to button boxes. If you want to see more tips about sim racing, consider subscribing. And if you like this video, it's going to help us out a lot. So I would really appreciate that. I'll see you in the next one. See you later.